Oh no. I just made this whole video and it turns out that it wasn't recording. Oh my gosh. Okay, here goes again. It is day 26 on my year to $1 million of impact. And um, the content, what I'm feeling called to share today is all about the feelings that I don't want to feel and that I really don't want to put out into the world and share more publicly because I've gotten so much protection from performing. I've got it all together. I know what's going on. You can trust me. I'm capable. And like all of that is true. And also, it is true that I feel like a failure. I feel like I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. I feel lost and confused and frustrated and humiliated. And I'm on this journey to making $1 million of impact this year. And whatever your journey is, whatever the vision is that you're casting, the future that you want to be having, that you want to be living and contributing to, the the fantasy is that the path is all just like great and like you always know what you're doing and you're always feeling good and every day you get an inspired action and it feels great. But the truth is that the journey to manifesting a big dream or even a small dream is the journey to becoming the version of yourself who has that. And that's about allowing yourself to change. And a lot of that change is inner change. The change of allowing yourself to feel things that you have shoved away and that you have not wanted to acknowledge or allow or make space for. All these uncomfortable feelings of failure, embarrassment, humiliation, uh, not knowing, fear of being incompetent or being perceived as incompetent, fear of being messy and being seen as messy, as not having it together. You're hearing all of my fears here. And I want you to know that when you cast a vision, these like part of the journey is moving through those fears. And I'm the image that's coming to me actually is the eye of the needle, that metaphor, and sort of recognizing that it in some ways it's the heart that goes through the eye of the needle, and what gets stripped away is all of these stories about ourselves, and that stripping away is painful and it requires us to acknowledge discomfort and acknowledge our imperfections and just like be real. And man, being real has been I it has this has been the year for me of becoming real, of really peeling away layers of pretending perfection, of performing, having it all together, and competence and capability, and like coming to acknowledge that there is part of me that feels like a real failure, that looks back on this year and feels like, well, what the fuck have you done even? How you've been wasting time is like part of the story, and ouch, I feel that and when I say it. And then I also recognize that story of having wasted time in part relies on me not giving myself credit for things that capitalism wouldn't give me credit for. Like I did a daily podcast for a year and I'm in a pause, sort of like letting that be a shavasana. But I did a year of daily episodes and that is worth being proud of. And my capitalism trained self is like, well, but it didn't make you very much money and it didn't blow up and like make you go viral. So it doesn't count as something that you have produced. So I'm recognizing that the shame that I feel, this like burning shame in my heart, is in part coming from my own attachment to the standards and values of capitalism. And so I can see how and feel how it is necessary for me to allow that to burn away in order to become the most whole and free and powerful version of myself. So, whatever uncomfortable feelings come up for you as you cast your vision and manifest your dreams, know that this inner work is essential to the journey of becoming and to the journey of creating whatever it is you want to create in the outer world. And it's so easy to dismiss it and sort of shove it away as not mattering because it's inside or it doesn't live up to these like external standards that we've been trained into. But the message for you today is that the journey of becoming requires discomfort, and it requires loving the discomfort. Coming to be big enough to contain all of it and transmute all of it and recognize that yes, the shame is there, and yes, it is in me, but it is not me. To be able to allow it to move through without buying into its stories. Whatever you feel is real, but the stories that you tell yourself about what you feel are made up, and you don't have to believe them. So the message today is love yourself. You are worthy. That feeling of shame or not enoughness or failure or whatever, it doesn't have some like secret inside knowledge. It's just part of you that's trying to protect you and keep you safe. And you are capable of so much more than that part knows or believes. Love you, friends. Thanks for being with me in this messy journey. I really wanted this to be just like the highlight reels of how to get from not making $1 million to making $1 million and having that kind of impact. But the reason I'm doing this as a like day-to-day living in the trenches practice is so that it's not the polished version, because I need to accept that I'm not the polished version of me, and you don't have to be the polished version of you. In fact, what the world needs from us is that we be our messy, real selves. Love you, friends.